Thank you, Administrator, for your testimony. We'll now turn to questions from members. The chair recognizes himself for 5 minutes. Administrator, last week we sent a letter signed by myself and all the committee's Republican members to you about the recent allegations that you just mentioned. FEMA workers skipped the homes of supporters of the president-elect. And following the allegations, you issued a statement that one FEMA employee departed from FEMA's values and was terminated. However, she alleges those were the instructions from FEMA when she was deployed. She asserts that FEMA supervisors and leadership were aware. And independently, we've received reports of similar practices in places like North Carolina. Tell me about the investigation. Tell me about the investigation, who's conducting it, and has there been an IG investigation initiated by yourself or anybody in FEMA?
Chairman Perry, there is nothing in our policies, in our procedures, in our training that would direct any employee to bypass anybody's home based on their political party. I cannot speak to what her motivations were, but this came to my attention again on November 7th. I directed my team to get me information. They gave me factual information on November 9th, which is when I directed the termination of this employee. This first came to our Office of Professional Responsibility on October 28th through the team member from TSA who was working under this individual. She immediately raised it to the Office of the Special Counsel, who took the case as a potential violation of the Hatch Act. There were ongoing investigations with that, and the Office of Professional Responsibility is currently working with the IG to determine what the investigative matters will be going forward. The IG has not of yet stated they want to investigate this, but I highly encourage them to take on this case and look and see if this was a widespread issue or if this was just a single incident.
So you're working with them and you've encouraged them, but you haven't requested they do so. Now, according to your employee, Ms. Washington, who was asked, and this is a public report, these orders came, who she stated, so you're telling me these orders came from somebody above? And she said, correct. So what has your investigation gleaned regarding her direct supervisors, the people above her? Have you questioned them, and what have your answers been?
Chairman Perry, we do have an ongoing investigation, and we have questioned other personnel in this chain of command, and we find no information at this point that there was anything beyond her direction to her employees to skip and bypass a home. So
the same employee alleged that the Florida team had already been avoiding Trump voters' homes prior to her work there, and that this was, as she said, the culture. Now, these aren't my words. These are the words from a FEMA employee who's claiming that she's being the scapegoat. She said, but I'm just simply executing again what was coming down from my supervisors. Do you know, how many supervisors does she have? How many people above her before she gets to you?
She is a crew lead, which is the lowest level of supervision.
So there's a lot of people above her, so to speak, in
there
the chain of command.
There are several people. I'd be happy to forward an organizational chart that would show where she sits within the organization.
And your investigation has spoken to certainly the immediate and maybe 2 or 3 steps above that?
We have an ongoing investigation, Chairman Perry, to determine if there was any additional acts that violated our core values of compassion, fairness, integrity, and respect.
Okay, so I get there's an ongoing investigation, but this isn't a law enforcement thing where you can't say, well, we have an investigation, so we can't talk about it. You can talk about this. Does the investigation include her immediate supervisors and several steps above that?
The investigation includes those that were deployed in this particular incident, and we have found no evidence that there is anything beyond this one employee's specific direction.
You found no evidence at this point. Let me ask you this. Now, you can understand that from America's perspective, certainly the people that weren't visited when FEMA was in town, that it would be in FEMA's best interest to just investigate this internally, say this is a one-off employee, that this this claim of hers that it's a culture is just her trying to kind of make sure that the responsibility, the accountability doesn't fall on her. Why shouldn't this be an independent investigation by at least somebody like the IG?
The actions that this employee took are unacceptable.
I know that, and you know that. We agree on that.
I would welcome an investigation by the IG.
But you haven't requested. Will you request one?
I will request one.
Thank you.